Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is January the 7th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, well, I'll get to that. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Hopefully you humped and didn't get humped. Unless that's what you're into, then by all means, hump away, go at it. But yeah, as for my day, it was, it was rough. We just had back-to-back bad days. Kind of a bit of a chain of memories, you could say. I don't know, like, from yesterday night, I just went to sleep upset, woke up today, actually got a good amount of sleep, but woke up today just as upset. And, we get to work, and I do a few buggies, and then I get called up, and I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta go up and do some more learning today. And then I also get told yet again, hey, we're gonna put the same person we were training back on that crusher for the rest of the day. So I'm wrenched off my job again, and it looks like this is just gonna be the motif. And I don't know if this is running me through my paces, so to speak, so that I actually, can be as helpful as possible and really get used to things and da-da-da-da. And you're giving people some other training downstairs with the crusher so that everything will be a bit more flexible. Or if this is just some punishment arc for me and it just goes on indefinitely. You know what I mean? You're just here to kind of put me in an awkward lurch here and put someone else on there that, will be fully compliant on the crusher, right? I don't know. So I had that on my mind. Plus, like I said, the shitty vibe conversation from the other day. And the thing that was kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say interesting. It was technically good is, the person came back to me, and this is very rare, at least as of lately for me and a lot of the dynamics I have with people. They came back to me and they said, hey, that was my bad, I'm sorry, more or less, right? And I took that, and I was very grateful for that. But at the same time, I still just had that burn on me. I was still upset. Not to mention, I'm just in the throes of it at work, and I can just clearly see that this year is not gonna go the way that I thought it was gonna go at all. To some extent, I'm just feeling like that justification for all my anxiety, and it just sucks. It just feels so bad, and I just started getting emotional at the top of the day, and it just wouldn't stop, which was an annoying flashback to me, crying in a work aisle in the same warehouse. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, time is a flat fucking circle, and I'm always fucking teary-eyed for it. So I'm just upset, and I'm and I'm trying to make myself stop, you know what I mean? I just hate when I'm like this, because I can't just snap my fingers and go, okay, Isaiah, stop being emotional. I'm not wired like that. I wish I had that big boy energy in me, and I just don't. So I have to do this training thing, and essentially what I have to do, it's called waiting for room. So we go to specific areas at each floor, and there are boxes, full of stock that were supposed to get stocked, but the area was actually filled. So they weren't, it was a miscue, whatever. And so, my job when I'm doing waiting for room is to, put those on a cart, go do them, right? Fill them. The problem is this has always been an annoying job to do, because you can go to the area and, oh, surprise, surprise, it's still filled. And maybe a little bit has gone down, but it's still filled. But there is this incentive that you need to fill it. So fill it. And if you do and you overfill it, well, guess what? You'll get a write-up for that. You'll get dinged for that. So you don't want to do that. But needless to say, that's neither here nor fucking there. Yes, the job is annoying. The job is even more annoying because of this stupid-ass RF gun process. You have to go into a specific mode and a specific function, which means I have to learn a whole new thing. And, don't get me wrong, I actually appreciated my lead for how they have been training me. I think they are a really good teacher. This is not really an indictment on them or anyone who has helped me along the way. that being fucking said, they will do a thing where they just start like saying numbers to me, like entering a code. And it's like, dude, stop. Like, you're just saying numbers over and over and over again to me. Like, I'm supposed to like retain that information. It's not helpful. Like, you know, I get it. You're trying to get me to learn this, and I'm clearly struggling, but like, you're going to have to let me fumble through it until I get used to it or something, because that's not working. And, you know, I can't say shut up. Like, I have to be, you know, patient, and I have to like be patient with myself, and it's very hard. And I'm getting more and more worked up as this is like going along, and I'm trying to attempt to do it on my own. And, you know, at one point, you know, they're trying to talk to me, and like, I'm queuing up another one, and I just feel myself welling up, and I'm like, oh no. And like, I'm trying to write the number down for what part of this process, and I write it wrong. And she goes, oh yeah, you wrote that wrong, right? Like, you see that right there. And I go, fuck. Like, and I kept saying, and I noticed I was like reflexively saying that, like, fuck. And I don't like that. I mean, I swear, whatever, but it's like, not as a topsider. I'm trying not to do that, right? And I can just feel myself cracking. And I go, and it almost is like I'm getting sick. It was like a physical reaction. I go, hey, I gotta go. Give me a second. I need to use the restroom. And I just stumble away. Like, fumble away to the fucking staircase. And I'm like, and I don't want to say I had a panic attack. I don't like calling it that, because a panic attack, like the way I define it, is like, you can't breathe. Like, you're paralyzed, like you're immobile. Like, that to me is a panic attack. I've had like maybe one panic attack in my life. This wasn't that, but it was an emotional moment where I'm like, I'm clearly going to lose it in front of people, and I don't want to do that. So I have to get away. I have to escape. So like, that to me is like my breakdowns, right? Or if you just have that moment then and there, I'm like wailing, like, oh my God, breakdown, right? So that's what I'm having. That was on the menu. So I literally flee to a staircase, and I'm on like the 3rd floor. So luckily I'm at the very tippy top, and I'm just praying that like I can have this moment without someone walking up to me. And I mean, hey, wouldn't be the fucking first time in this warehouse, right? But you just want that to be a minimum, right? Right. And so I take my hoodie off because I'm hot. I take, you know, and I'm just like, cry, breathe, cry, breathe, cry, breathe. Okay, breathe. And like, I eventually get there, and I get back to the zone, and they're like, hey, do you need like water or something? And I'm like, no, I think I'm good. I think I'm all right. And we are able to attempt the rest of it. And afterwards, she goes, okay, after break, you can come back and do this. And I was like, yeah, you want me to do this for the rest of the day? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And an annoying thing about this is that there's always this like vague amorphous, like, you have to do this thing for the rest of the day. And like, for the putbacks, I actually understand that it's like an infinite job. Like, maybe it slows down or whatever, but eventually it picks back up, or you can go to the other floor and just kind of keep chaining it. This is not that. Like, you don't need me to be on waiting for room when it's dead like this. The only time you'd actually need me for waiting for room is when it's super busy, and it's kind of crazy to randomly throw me into something like that, right? But you could. That's kind of the practical purpose. But once again, I understand for training, and they even said this, like, hey, just so you can get used to it. And I'm like, okay. And I just didn't. I just got back from my break, and I didn't do that. I think I tried one box, and then I was like, okay, and I fucked it up. I literally fucked it up, and once again, relied on the fact that I'm like, okay, I'm at least smart enough to know that I'm here. I can look at the thing, the location. I can look at what's in the box. It's it. Everything is matching up. Just fill it. It's filled. Awesome. Lucky me. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not rolling the dice, because these are things that I actually could get traced for and written up for. I'm not doing it. Not to say that I'm going to do it to insubordination, but once again, I was maxed out for the day, right? After that, like I said, I just did putbacks for the day. At one point, I catch myself forlornly, like, at the dumpster. Like, I'm just at the trash compactors, and the person who was running it was on a break. And they come back. Actually, I had a couple moments with this person. They're a cool person. At one point, you know, they come back from their break, and I feel so awkward, right? Like, I'm just invading their space. Like, it's so weird. And so I give them like 2 thumbs up. I get out of the way, and they go, hey, I think there's something wrong. Or he said, I think they're changing out the other crusher, the composite trash one. And I go, oh, yeah, they probably changed it out earlier in the morning. And he assumed it wasn't working. And I was like, oh, let me show you how to work it real quick. Because they probably didn't teach you. Which is like, it's so funny. Because once again, didn't I mention that they were training this person for the whole week? Wouldn't it be cool to have the person who works it the whole time do whatever. So I show them real quick how it works, and they go, okay, cool, awesome. And they almost like bump my charger because I put it like on the other side of where I normally would put it because their stuff was there. And they go, oh, that's pretty neat. What is that? And I go, oh, it's a charger. And then I just go, okay, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to get my +5 Paragon points. If you're down here for, a long time, if they put you down here, you should get one. It's definitely very worth it. And, I bid him adieu, and I go back upstairs to bullshit because I just did not want to do anything else other than cut boxes down and just feel sorry for myself. And that was my day. And I think that that's going to be my days from now on. I'm just playing Jumanji, I think. And I'm learning new shit that I don't want to learn. and I think my days as the Crusher are over. So I don't know. It's a bit annoying. It's a bit frustrating. End of an era, I guess. But hey, it just is what it is. And there's a part of me that like immediately wants to try to find a way to scramble out of this. And I don't know how I could. I know how the job market is. We've talked about it. But I think I got to give myself at least a month and a half. I got to stick it out and at least try to adapt, try to like work it out. Because truly, if I take my ego out of it, I take my emotions out of it, it's not like anyone's yelling at me. It's not like anyone's like putting me in a corner or anything like that. It's just I am being forced to be in a situation I don't want to be in. And guess what? I know that's life. I know that's how it works. So I know that you guys are just here for my 20-30 minute whine session. Hopefully it's not going to be that long. But it sucks. It just sucks. This is not how I wanted to start 2026. I felt like I came in more or less emotionally stronger than I thought. But turns out, nope, I am still soft as baby shit. And I still hate it that I just have these two modes, right? I just have crash out or cry. I just have I love you or I hate you. Like, I don't know. I just hate that I'm always like this hot, cold person, right? Like, I feel like I'm 35 years old. I should have some goddamn nuance. I should have like, the ability to like really meet in the middle. And I feel like I can. It's just sometimes very hard and, going through one of those hard times. But what can you say? What can you do? Anyway, what I did about it, though, I did go to the gym as usual, as per usual, and it was busy. Especially busy for a Wednesday, which is a bit annoying, but it makes sense, right? We can't complain too bad. You can't complain too much. I did start off with a Smith machine, which obviously felt good. But no luck. No luck on the free weights. Excuse me. A bit unfortunate that got locked out for the day. It kind of felt like out of nowhere too, because it was like for a good amount of time, no one was over there, and then next thing you know, it was swarmed for like most of the night. So I just proceeded to do my core work and then some filler work. That being said, I still feel like I got a good workout in with just that alone on the weight training side. Cardio was pretty good. Didn't go too hard on the treadmill aspect for that 15 minutes, but like everything else felt, normal, nominal. And I generally hit my goal of like hitting around 500 calories, for the cardio portion. So that's good, right? And I always think that because I've never actually done the math on like how much calories I burn on average at the gym. My guess, and this is just a guess, this is just me doing napkin math in my fucking head. It's probably around 1,000. I'm literally doing 2 hours at the gym. I don't think that's crazy to say, but, that's usually what I feel like I burn. Or maybe 700 to 1,000 is probably more apt. Cause once again, I'm just going off of like rough estimates from the machine and then like kind of just activity based, like you do these things, yada, yada, like a varying intensity, right? Anyway, I'm no scientist, so don't quote me on this shit. But yeah, no, it was a good workout, especially all things considered. Another one of those days where like I'm glad that I get to just like, no matter what my mental, physical state, I can literally like close my eyes and just do the program. Like I can just do what I need to do because like I know what I want and I do it every day. Like I don't get freaky, I don't get strange with it. Like, you know, occasionally I might play with the reps or the sets, but more or less it's the same stuff and I like that. I think that that's the one reward about having such a boring everything workout is that like I can just like almost close my eyes and do that shit, and that's nice. So that's good. So yeah, I was a bit sad, but like towards the end of the workout, I'm like, hey, we're getting further from work. And then, you know, we get home and, you know, we, you know, have our stretch, we get our snack in us, all that kind of stuff. And it starts to remind me that it's like, look, man, today sucked. This week sucks. This month probably gonna fucking suck, dude. But sometimes work sucks, man. Sometimes work sucks. You know? So I'm hoping that I can just get over it. That I can just get used to this shit. And once again, if not, hopefully y'all got a job offer for me. Or y'all got some fucking Patreon dollars for me. And you can start getting more news in this motherfucker. Because hell, I would gladly eat shit. I would gladly eat shit every day if I could yap for you guys for a living. Oh, lovely. That'd be so lovely. That'd be so great. It'd be grand. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. How's that sound? Hopefully good. Even though the news, it's pretty rough, right? It's rougher than my day, dare I say. Oh, man. I'm trying to think about it, but I do cover a lot of people dying, you know? Isn't that a bummer? Sorry. Eesh. It's like me whining about my life, and then it's like, someone just got literally deleted. Awesome. No, not awesome. You know what I mean? It's like, goddamn. Crazy the format I chose. I chose this. Motherfuckers are like, you really want to do news? I'm like, yes, that's what I want to do. Tasty. Okay. All right, so we gotta get serious. From the Associated Press, or the AP. Associated Press. Wow. Let me run that back. Anyway. Driver shot in Minneapolis is at least the 5th person killed in U.S. immigration crackdown. The fatal shooting Wednesday of a woman by an immigration officer in Minneapolis was at least the 5th death to result from the aggressive U.S. immigration crackdown the Trump administration launched last year. The Department of Homeland Security said the officer fired in self-defense as the woman tried to run down officers with her vehicle. That's one perspective, by the way. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey said video of the incident showed it was reckless and unnecessary. It occurred as the federal agency escalates immigration enforcement operations in Minnesota Sorry, let me run that sentence back. It occurred as the federal agency escalates immigration enforcement operations in Minnesota by deploying an anticipated 2,000 agents and officers. Now, normally I don't like to just come back to the same area, same kind of story, but this literally, just went down, at least in terms of today, like back to back like this. So I was like, okay, well, we are right back here, unfortunately. I guess you got to appreciate, Mayor Frey, at least saying the same, get the fuck out of the, ICE, get the fuck out of the city. Like, awesome. It is good that, at least he knows, like, hey, I need to be on the side of my people here, right? And I generally feel like that's top down here. Governor, Tim Walz, obviously about the same kind of shit, right? But it is very jarring video to watch. I'm not imploring anyone to watch it or whatever. I will say, though, I did repost it on my Instagram, my main Instagram, at least like via NPR or whatever, because a witness recorded it. And it is a situation that we have seen time and time again, not just with ICE specifically, but with law enforcement, right? Where you have the situation of you have hostile law enforcement coming up on a person, being like, get the fuck out of the car, get out, da da da. They're on the car now. And the driver reacts with the vehicle, right? They're in the car, they're going to try to move or something like that, right? Instead of saying, okay, no, I'm going to be fully 100% compliant with you. And because they make this reaction, because they choose to turn and try to move, and the cop is put themselves right in front of the car, right? Boom, cop shoots, person dies. I mean, that is a situation, essentially the situation at play. Now, you know how this is going to get narrated by law enforcement, especially the Trump administration, is that, oh, they weaponized this vehicle, they were stalking ICE, law enforcement, da da da. Like, essentially, this was complete 100% self-defense by the officers. And it's also worth noting here, they say it in the article, but, and I was talking to my friend about this, no one has been charged in any of these kind of fucking situations. It's why I wanted to highlight this article. We're not going to go into the guts of it, because we've covered a good chunk of these stories, if not all of them, at least when they happen, right? And on the onset. And they're just, and like I've said before, they are just going to keep happening because this administration is not going to stop. They are just going to keep ramping up this shit. This is the kind of shit they want. It doesn't deter them at all to have this shit happen. So yeah, I mean, you didn't see ICE leave after this incident, unfortunately. They did not get the fuck out. So yeah, I mean, I did get the name of the person. It's not in this article, but it was Renee Nicole Good, 37-year-old, I believe, resident, American citizen, killed, because she was not fully compliant with officers, and they just fucking deleted her. And then and it was just also eerie how almost matter of fact, nonchalant, like all of the law enforcement kind of was about it all. Like, a person just literally got shot, and you see their car, like, listlessly roll off the road, and then, like, the person is there, and, like, maybe you kind of see there's a bit of a detachment because, like, the cops aren't as aggro anymore, and they're a little bit late to be, like, pushing back on people, like, yeah, stop recording this, or, like, stop, get back, da, 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 da. Like, it happens, but, like, maybe it's almost because they're trying to assess, like, oh, no, like, this person's dead, like, ugh. And then the guy who did it just keeps breaking into a truck and just, like, looks like he's driving off or something, like, this is just another day in fucking America. So, yeah, that was rough, very rough, and, I know it's not going to stop. I know the beats is going to keep going on this shit. But, we're going to move with it. We're going to keep talking about this shit. And, stay connected with people. Don't, like, I think it's so easy in these moments to be fearful, to be hateful, and, like, choose these kind of negative emotions. But I admire the people who are being bold, who are being brave, who are doing the best they can to stay connected and to keep community with people. Despite the fact of fears of being that you don't even know, like, going outside, whether or not you're going to be safe, you're really not going to get kidnapped by your own fucking government, right? By the people who are supposed to be fucking protecting you. So, I don't have much to offer, obviously, duh, but, like, we can always stay connected. We can always just stay up with each other, stay aware, and, just gotta keep fucking hanging out on this shit. Anyway. Fuck ICE. Anyway, let's move on. From the BBC. Actually, I'm going to get a water break in real quick. We are going to talk Venezuela. Maduro. No, actually, this is not really about Maduro, but I can't help myself. Fuck it, man. It's news. It's happening. It's now. Okay. Technically, this is Boat Watch, too. It's kind of funny. Well, not funny, but we have Little Boat Watch, which is essentially like America blowing up speedboats and, like, alleged narco boats and saying, like, look what we did. See, isn't this so cool? Why are you booing? And then you have Big Boat, which is us capturing shipping tankers and saying, well, we were sanctioning this anyway, and this is like a ghost ship, and it's illegal, so we're taking it. Like we're pirates. Give us that booty. So yeah, that's what we're doing with the big boats. We're doing Big Boat Watch today. let's see. U.S. seizes 2 Shadow Fleet tankers linked to Venezuelan oil that drip. The United States says it has seized 2 tankers linked to Venezuelan oil experts in back-to-back operations in the North Atlantic and the Caribbean. U.S. forces boarded the Russian-flagged Marinera. Dude, it is the Marinera. I remember hearing that earlier this morning, and I was like, Marinera. Marinera, after a pursuit lasting almost 2 weeks as it traveled through the waters between Iceland and Scotland. The UK Royal Navy gave logistical support by air and sea. Now, I don't think I mentioned this, but like we covered the one that had happened that we had captured. And then there was this one that we were stalking. Like we were literally like just like on the prowl for it. And then I guess so we caught it. Okay, mission accomplished. No, there's more. A second tanker, the MT Sophia, was accused by the U.S. of conducting illicit activities and boarded in the Caribbean. So yeah, we are still doing that, even though it's weird, right? Because you could say we cut off the head of the administration, right? We got Maduro, but we kept the administration in play, right? Like, I know I had mentioned Machado, Marina Machado, I got her name right, I think finally, right? But essentially Trump is like, no, she's not a player, dude. They don't respect her. They wouldn't support her. It's so fucking wild. Like, because essentially he just turns on her ass. And it's so funny too, because the political tea is, he's actually really butthurt that she got the Nobel Peace Prize. Even though this is literally like a political ploy by like the Nobel group or whatever to be like, okay, we can't give it to Trump. We just can't give it to Trump. We know he wants it so damn bad, but like anyone we give it to, he'll be so mad and like make it like our problem or whatever. But if we give it to Machado, like in a way, we can kind of make this like a thing that's like, it's almost like we're giving it to him. It was really weird how they arced the bullet, and like Machado plays along to this, but essentially it wasn't enough. It's like, she should have said no. She should have just denied it. Like, and I'm like, brother, you don't need this stupid ass fucking thing. They gave you the FIFA fake one. They just made one up for you, whatever, dude. Like, it's just so funny. I love it. I do love how petty this man is. And I'm sure it's more than that or whatever. I think truly this has never been about democracy. It's not about the fact that like Maduro is like the big evil authoritarian, blah, 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 blah. Neither really is the fact that because we're talking about Chavez a lot. I've noticed, at least that's been coming up. But it is just about the fact that we want the oil. We've always wanted the oil. It's like, give it to us. Give it us. Oil. Give it to us now. And we have this whole thing too of like, no, Venezuela, you owe us. Because we had so much vested in interest in you guys in the past. And then you guys went and nationalized your oil and cut us out of it. And like, that's our American business. We are owed some money. So I want to actually get to that too. We're not going to go too into the guts of this. But from Axios, Trump, Venezuela to turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to U.S. So, I mean, this is Trump saying, he said this on True Social. This is also him saying it, right? But he's saying, hey, I'm going to get the money and I'm securing the bag and I'm going to make sure that Venezuela gets this money and the United States. And China's not going to get any of it. It's like, oh, okay, man. All right. But it is worth noting that it does seem like, what is it? I'm not going to get her name right, and that's really annoying. But Rodriguez, the new interim president that's been sworn in, I think Delcy, she is seemingly playing ball. Her administration is playing ball. Meanwhile, though, on the microphone, on the podium, she's like, yeah, no, fuck America for taking Maduro. He's our president. Like, Maduro, Celia, like, they're heroes, America's fucked up for this. But I think behind the scenes, it does seem like we are doing some kind of collaboration with them. Old Narco Rubio is like kind of ruining the roost. And he's eating big right now. Also, I haven't mentioned this in the whole milieu. We talked a lot about Greenland the other day. Cuba's also big on the menu. And if anything, I would not be surprised if we circle back to that being a big talking point, because once again, that's part of the whole new Don Roe doctrine. You want to look that up. I was trying to sum that up the other day, and I don't think I did well, but if you want to look that up, that more or less sums up everything that we're doing right now in this hemisphere, in our sphere of influence. But only we can do that, by the way. China, don't do that. Russia, don't do that. Stop it. It's crazy that it just feels like Trump peep game from like the likes of a Putin, NG, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, no, we should be doing our shit too. We should be kicking it old school too. Like, let's show them real imperialism. Let's fucking flex. And like, now that he's on his Trump 2 shit, like, he's like, it's personal and I'm doing it. No one's gonna stop me. And no one is, by the way. No one fucking is. So I say that only Trump is saying this and it isn't gospel, but like, might as well take it as such. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, he does get the money. I guess one more thing I want to close out on this segment. I'm sure we're going to come back to it. But like, even though like, yeah, oil, obviously we know that this is an important thing. It makes the world go round. Like, we all need the shit. Right now, though, the price of oil apparently is down. I think it's like $60 a barrel. Apparently, like, you want that shit like, I don't know, more, like 100 or so, whatever. So oil companies right now are like, I mean, cool that you did that, man, but like, we don't need you to do this. We don't really want to get involved. Chevron has been involved. I mentioned them before. But yeah, I mean, they are kind of in a sunken cost situation. They are heavily plot committed to like, Venezuela oil working out because they've been pot in. And it's like, yeah, we are making sure. Hey, we're here, Mr. Trump. Put us in, coach. Okay. I think Exxon's also a big sniffer in this conversation. But I mean, oil companies at large and everything, like, they're like, okay, we can get oil from other places, like. So who knows? I mean, we could really talk about this subject forever and infinite. But I at least wanted to highlight those two things: with the ghost ship, with the oil. I guess talk a little bit about administration. Machado's still on the outs. Where is she, by the way? It's very, very much a Carmen Sandiego situation. I don't even know where she's at right now. But apparently she is not wanted. At least not by Trump. But anyway. Let's move on, though, to our next story from the Associated Press. Netanyahu tries to calm tensions after Israeli bus runs over and kills ultra-Orthodox teen. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged calm on Wednesday after a bus driver ran over and killed a teenage boy during a protest by thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jewish demonstrators against a law seeking to draft them into Israel's military. I call for restraint to prevent the mood from becoming further inflamed so that, heaven forbid, we do not have additional tragedies, Netanyahu said in a statement, adding that the death would be thoroughly investigated. The incident on Tuesday evening killed yeshiva student Yosef Eisenthal, who police said was 14. Video from the protest obtained by the Associated Press showed the boy being trapped under the vehicle while the driver continued to drive on for several meters as onlookers jostled and screamed. Police officers arrested and questioned the bus driver, who told investigators he was attacked by protesters before his vehicle hit the boy. Police said Wednesday that the driver's arrest had been extended until January 15th. He has not yet been charged. Protesters have been blocking the road and acting violently toward police officers, throwing eggs and other objects at them, police spokesperson said. So yeah, I was very surprised at first. I was like, wait, like, this is like, because we've mentioned this before, and this has still been like an ongoing thing, that like this is a bristling issue, and like it looks like it's gonna go through, right? Like, we're gonna go through this law change or whatever. I guess I didn't expect it to be so rabid, but my take on it still feels the same, and it's just along solely religious lines here. We can swap out Orthodox, like Judaism or whatever. I believe, what is this known as? Hardim, whatever, But you could swap this out for like Orthodox Catholicism, whatever. Insert religion here. And I'm still cocking my head to the side and going, why do you get that exception? Especially for this situation, right? Like, you guys are a nation state, you have this law, ethno state, whatever you want to call it. You guys are going to do your whole little genocide thing. Like, yeah, you have to go. Like, we have a conscription policy. But it's like, no. Actually, we have a carve out if you read the Torah. And I don't know, man. It just always seems like why? Like, no, you should go. Like, a medical exemption makes sense to me. I can understand. But it's like, nah, man, you're just hella gifted with the word. The word. I don't know, and I don't really mean to make fun or poke at it or anything like that. By all means, you want to be religious, cool. But being religious, in my opinion, shouldn't take you out of the pool of constituents in society, right? Like, it shouldn't elevate you or denote you, right? You shouldn't be ostracized either. Like, you should just be a citizen. I don't know. And you can rewind back to my take on, religious exemptions for taxes. I think that's crazy. I think it's silly and weird and dumb, and I don't like it. I'll tell you when I did like it, when I used to go to church. When I used to be a Christian kid, because yeah, it made sense, and maybe this was just me and my own vanities or whatever, my own personal sin. But like, there is that sense of like, yeah, no, at least you're getting something here in the here and now, right, for your religious, fervor, your zealotry, right, Yeah, but it's just like, once again, you take yourself out of that and you go, no, that's a bit odd. That's a bit odd, isn't it? A bit strange. But hey, so it goes. Obviously, very unfortunate that a 14-year-old got run over by a bus. That's very sad. But yeah, no, like I said, that is one of those times where you find me talking about a protest, and I feel very like, oh, very strange about this, because I disagree. But I mean, I get you forming it, but being like, oh, hostile like this about this, you're egging, and I don't know, whatever. Hey, that's all I have to say about that. We'll leave that there. I don't know. Like, when I saw that story, I was like, no, we're definitely covering it. I know that's not maybe, main what we usually are covering when we're talking about Israel. We're talking about the region. We're talking about Gaza. But, that is what made the headlines today. So that is what we talked about. Anywho, we're going to get local for our last story. And we got to grab probably the worst bite ever to get. This is a terrible diner. 0 stars. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break. And we'll go ahead and close it out. In jail, sadly. But yeah, with Mr. Jones. Ooh, very nice, very nice. All right. From Fox 19 now. Always local, always now. Fuck yeah, dude. Sheriff defends Warden burger as lawmakers demand jail investigation. The Butler County Jail faces scrutiny from Ohio lawmakers who claim the facility violates state standards for inmate meals, housing, and conditions. Now, the focus, at least of the headline and everything, is the meals, but I do appreciate this article kind of going through the whole infrastructure being very bad here. State Representatives Christine Cockley, banger name, and then Mark Segrist, both Democrat. Oh, and also Senator William DeMora are asking the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections to investigate the jail, which is the ODRC, sorry. In a January 6th letter, the group wrote that there is documented evidence of dangerous and deteriorating conditions at the jail, including inmate overcrowding, food service violations, and heating deficiencies. An ODRC report issued in August revealed that the Butler County facility was holding 805 inmates, which was 49 inmates over the state recommended capacity of 756, the letter says. Rather than addressing this critical overcrowding issue, the facility has been accepting additional detainees since that time. Now, they have the whole letter here. We're not going to go through that. An ODRC compliance report says on the date of the July inspection, the jail had 805 inmates, but recommends 756. We're going to skim ahead a bit here from now. It's a bit detail. I guess this is the main ticket, I guess you could say here. The inspector's review states that all inmates should receive the same meals unless there is a health or safety condition that includes those in isolation. On the day of the inspection, it was found all inmates placed in disciplinary isolation are served a Warden burger. Jail administration shall I don't know why I'm getting jammed up on shall. Jail administration shall ensure all inmates are served the same meal unless the inmate uses food or food service equipment in a manner that is hazardous to self, staff, or other inmates, Ackley noted. In response to the letter, Butler County Sheriff Richard Jones disputed that the jail is overcrowded and defended the Warden burger. As far as the Warden burger, you get that in jail when you get in trouble, Sheriff Jones said. It's approved by a dietitian. It's probably the most nutritious thing we serve. Let's just go through the rundown of what the Warden burger is. And it is in the thumbnail, right? A Warden burger is made of tomato paste, flour, dry milk, oats, beans, ground turkey, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, onions, celery, and a pinch of salt. Jones says each inmate and detainee is served 3 meals per day and has access to medical and dental care as well as a TV. He also it's also worth noting too, it's not said here, but like if you listen to the interview, he's the person interviewing him. They ask, so they have to eat this 30, every day for 30 days. And he goes, yeah. And I guess you could at least say in his defense, you see him taking like a little bite of it or whatever. He's like opened it up. He's eating a little bit of the slop or whatever. He's like, yeah, no, it's fine. You know what I mean? And he makes the complaint of like, yeah, they're in jail. They don't get to get a nice meal. Like it's not their mommy or daddy, or I think he said Aunt Lily or something. I was like, okay, he just came up with a name there. That's improv. And he's like, it's me. I'm making the food. And it's like, okay, man. And it's just this cruel behavior, right? It's this cruel intention behind it that I just hate the most about it. Because look, I'm sure there's other fucking, motherfuckers in charge of their, jails or whatever. They're serving bullshit ass from a butt, whatever. But it's just the classico ass fucking bullshit that, I don't know, a Cisco or whatever comes and gives you, or whatever you have making house. Why are you doing this? Why are you making this weird, sloppy bullshit croquette? Why? I'll also add another weird caveat here because I'm just the weirdest food eater. If you took out the tomato and maybe juiced up the presentation, you could get me to maybe at least try something like this. That being fucking said, you shouldn't have to eat something like this every fucking day. As part of your infraction or whatever. How is this a part of any kind of effective rehabilitation? And he, once again, to kind of reference the interview or whatever, he's like, yeah, I've had people say, yeah, they remember hating that thing. It's probably the reason why they don't want to come back. It's like, dude, there's just got to be better ways, to fucking crack an egg, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do this. You can be like, this isn't inhumane. You're making something out of nothing. This is a nothing burger. But like, why are we doing this? Like, you don't have to. It is going out of your way behavior, in my opinion. So yeah, it is a constant fuck Sheriff Jones on this. I would, in my fantasy land, Tomato Town. You already know. We putting him in Tomato Town. He can get all the fucking Warden burgers he wants. No, whatever, dude. But fuck that, dude. Boo. What a fucking loser, dude. We still remember what you did to bees, bro. But they back, bro. And that's the thing, too. Like, there's another added thing here. I kind of wanted to, I pinch this article off or whatever. But lawmakers also raised concerns about the jail's heating system and housing ICE detainees with inmates. So kind of going a bit full circle here. By choosing to house ICE detainees in state facilities, Ohio assumes direct liability for their confinement. If individuals suffer harm from overcrowding, poor heating, lack of medical care, or other care failures, the state and its taxpayers will almost certainly face litigation and possible judgments. The legal and financial risks Ohio faces are very serious, the letter says. It's sad that you have to be this bureaucratic about like people's lives that you're trying to cram into a fucking building, but like, okay, I guess this is what you got to do. And then, of course, you got to love this response. If the furnace breaks at the jail, if the furnace at the jail breaks, maintenance fixes. I don't know why I can't talk. If the furnace at the jail breaks, maintenance fixes it, Jones says. So, you know, he's just like, it's fine. Everything's working. Everything's fine. Everything's optimal. But yeah, no, he loves this. Like I said, I have 400 detainees in my jail. Don't come to this country illegally. If you do, sorry, you're going to come to jail, he responded. So, like, he's down for this shit. He gets hard for this shit. He loves the attention. That's why he's serving this slop on white bread. He wants the smoke. Like, and I hate it. I hate giving it to this motherfucker. You know what I mean? But, like, once again, I just saw this shit and I'm just like, you know, once again, this is just so on brand for like our local. And I also haven't covered a local story. First local story of the year. There you go, getting it in. But like, it's a good example of kind of what you get in Ohio. You know, that's a bit of our, you know, at least our law end, so to speak. And I'm not the biggest fan of our order end as well. And, you know, our government, well, we've dewined about it a good amount. So you know how that goes. Anyway, that's it. I think that's all I have. Yeah, that's good. I feel like it's a good solid, you know, stopping point. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Like I said, help me quit my day job. I know I'm not good at this, but you could still help me quit my day job. No, but truly, just become a newsie today. You know, why not? You know, you get a shout out at the top of the month. We run those down. You know, you get the extra notes, little thing. You get to see my little extra blah, blah, blahs every once in a while when I want to yap extra, a little write. Not that that's much better. I'm not much of a writer, sadly. Let's see, old little lore practicey episodes or whatever. Those are things, but no, it's a tip jar, you know, it's essentially, you know, breaking the fourth wall here between you and me. It's a tip jar for money. For the price of a cup of coffee. No, let's see. Free ways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Wherever you like to listen. Let's see. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. There you go. That's what I'm supposed to say. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. Let's see, but if you don't do that, that's okay. I just appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for listening to my little whine about. You know, we're rooting for better days, and I know you're rooting for me. I'm rooting for you, by the way. So thank you. Like I said, and you don't have to do any of that shit. You just get that for free, for the free. Cause that's what it's about, baby. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, this is love. This is, you know, this is communication in at least some way. It's a one way, but you know where to find me, you know how to get at me. And like I said, you know, stay together, stay close. You know, fuck it, dude. That's all I got. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.